we've talked a lot about this in between media this season. There's going to be curveballs coming your way.
Hate's a strong word. I dislike Kirk Cousins more than probably any other quarterback in the league.
I get a little bit of that rookie-itis, you know?
I would have said, I would love some of what you're smoking.
Even though I strayed, I'm still stuck between an interpretation, what it all means. Can I make a difference for something different? My mind in prison, then I saw the vision. Played the field, it's no competition. Found success through the repetition. If it's impossible, stick to the mission. I'm just cruising through on my way to get it. I found myself somewhere in between. Yeah, I found myself somewhere in between. Found myself somewhere in between. Yeah, I found myself somewhere in between. The In Between Fantasy Football Podcast.
So one thing that really sets us apart here is we're not afraid to talk about other things that maybe aren't super fantasy related.
Do what you can to become a better person, to become a better human.
All right, everyone. It is Tuesday, January 25th, 2022, baby. We're still holding it down in the In Between Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Seth Woolcock, joined by my co-host tonight, the Pole Vote family, Nathan and Jennifer. Guys, how are you doing tonight? A wacky divisional round is just wrapped up.
Doing great.
Did you call me Nathan?
I did.
You called me Jennifer, so.
That's true.
Your
full names now. Are we in trouble?
No, we're just proper tonight, guys. We only have 2 shows left of the season. We're kind of winding it down here, and what a way to do it with the chaos we saw over the weekend. I think it's safe to say that was probably the best round of the fans or just playoffs in general that I've seen, probably within my lifetime at least.
Yeah, I think that was the consensus all around. Everyone is kind of feeling the same way, thinking the same thing, enjoyed the games. They all came down to basically the last couple minutes, but exciting stuff.
Well, Sunday was the best day. Saturday, the games were very, very, very good. Very low scoring, obviously. Field goals won them. But, man, that Rams-Tampa Bay game, like just the back and forth there and then the back and forth Buffalo game, it was wild. Never.
Yeah.
I don't know that we'll ever see anything like that over a weekend of playoff football.
4 game-sealing kicks or one that sent it to overtime. It was absolutely crazy. Hats off to all the teams that advanced and all the ones who didn't advance as well. Just a hell of a season for the NFL. It continues to be the 101, in my opinion, of professional sports. I haven't seen the ratings from this weekend, but I'm sure they have to be off the charts. They already have been all season long. So congrats to the NFL on another great weekend. Guys, we had some other news come in today that we're going to talk about before we jump into today's show, and that was the Sean Payton news. A little bit blindsided here. There were some reports out earlier today that he might be stepping away from the Saints, but he's stepping away after 16 years, 15 seasons as the Saints head coach. Obviously means a lot to that organization, means a lot to that city after everything they went through with Katrina, along with Drew Brees there. Guys, what are your initial thoughts on hearing the Sean Payton news? It looks like he's at least going to be stepping away for the next year, probably waiting for that contract with the Saints to void before he gets back into the coaching scene.
Yeah, I mean, I say good for him. Go enjoy your life, enjoy your kids, enjoy everything you've worked for. Like, I'm happy for him. I mean, I feel like I kind of saw this coming just with Drew Brees leaving. It's like, it's not the same team. And I don't think Sean Payton's heart is in it anymore. I think he's kind of over it, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, I agree. And take a year off.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of that year, he decides he doesn't want to coach anymore. Or, I mean, who knows? But good for him. I think the Saints are probably better off. It's probably time for them. I mean, it's been 15 years. They could probably use a change in philosophy, change in scheme, change in offense, change in coaching. This is a team that's going into rebuild mode. When you're hanging your hat on Taysom Hill as your quarterback, obviously you're not expecting to win your division. So it's probably good for them. They can start fresh. It's going to be 2-3 seasons before they're relevant again, more than likely. That's okay. It happens to every franchise.
Yeah, when you're $70 million over the cap here in February or late January as it is, you're in trouble. And I think at the end of the day, Sean Payton was going to have to find some more creative ways to make this roster work, like possibly owing Taysom Hill $40 million if he plays next year. Like, there are so many weird things going on with the Saints salary cap situation. Yeah, I don't blame him. And, there's even that movie kind of coming out later this year, I believe, about him and his son's like lack of a relationship because he was the coach, and how they kind of restored that in his off season. So I kind of think that's a factor into it. Jen, you kind of alluded to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, and he consulted on that movie, and I'm sure he was looking at his whole life and was like, I'm out for a while, at least a year.
Well, I can't imagine the grind of the NFL and how difficult and how that can just like beat you down. And sometimes it's like you just have to make a change. Like Seth, I mean, like you made a change, kind of like Sean Payton recently.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's probably as good of a time as ever to announce it to our audience. For the last, really 2 years I've been working with you, Jen and Nate. For a lot of it, I've been working at a job and had a great time at that job. But at the end of the day, for my well-being, for the overall success of In Between Media and myself as an individual, I felt like this was the right move to step away from my day job. And now we're going to be doing In Between Media. I mean, if it wasn't already a full-time job, it's a full-time job now. We're looking to do some other things in the industry and some other freelance work as well. But overall, guys, I'm excited for what's to come here In Between Media. We've already in the offseason been working on some really cool things we have coming our audience's way here in 2022. So stay tuned, because I'm saying that as a little bit of a teaser, but by the end of the week, you might be surprised with what we're going to roll out. Got a lot of great content coming everyone's way too. So I am absolutely thrilled to be doing this all the time with you guys. Nate, Jen, thanks for coming along this ride with me as well.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
Yeah,
I took the leap a couple of years ago and have not looked back.
Yeah, it's a huge life change, but it's good. It's good.
It's really good. You struggle a little bit, but it's good. It's worth the struggle.
Yeah, the struggle builds you, man. That's what we've always kind of said here In Between Media. And, it's we always compare life to fantasy football here at In Between Media. That's kind of what we're known for. And, this is just one of those other curveballs coming my way. And, one of those steps we have to take as people in our lives, as fantasy football managers. Sometimes you have to take big swings, and this is my way of doing that. Guys, super excited for the rest of the off season. This is our second to last show of the postseason here before we take a couple weeks break. Guys, this week on the podcast, we have headline hijinks. We're going to break everything down from what we saw here in the divisional round. We're going to talk about some fantasy football winners and losers, play a game of Would You Rather, and some weekly advice as well. So absolutely loaded show. Let's go ahead and get to it here in headline hijinks presented by Stevens Quality Barbering Services. And guys, In Between fam, we've been telling you all season long, if you want to get the best out of your hair, go to Stevens Quality Barbering Services in Kerwinsville, PA, baby. Western PA, Central PA, doesn't matter where you're located, fam. Get down to Noah right now. He's going to hook you up with a quality haircut at a quality price, and you're going to have an overall quality experience at Stevens Quality Barbering Services. Get there today. Visit stevens-quality.genbook.com today. Book an appointment, baby. 2022, the new you, it's right around the corner. Right around the corner. Take that first step with Stevens Barber Services. And here we go, guys. All right, so there are a lot of winners here that we're going to talk about in the next segment. But in Headlight Hijinks today, I want to specifically talk about these players and these teams that did not come away victorious. So we all wrote a headline about a team that was not victorious. Nate, do you want to start it off here with what advice you would give to that team moving forward?
So my advice goes to the Buffalo Bills, specifically to Josh Allen. Don't lose hope, sweet prince. You're going to get there. This is a good Buffalo team, and that game could have gone either way, really. It was the last team to have the ball, which is how it looked most of the fourth quarter. How could you know that Patrick Mahomes was going to pull off a 13-second drive to get a field goal. There were some poor decisions at the end of the game on the Bills coaching staff's part. I mean, why they kicked it out of the end zone, I don't understand. Could have taken more time off the clock.
Yeah.
Probably when they had time to get that field goal. That's neither here nor there. This is a good team. They're going to be back. Don't lose hope. Buffalo fans, don't lose hope. This team will be back.
Yeah, it's tough. That's probably the biggest thing I think they did wrong was kick that kick out of the back of the end zone instead of a squib or a long normal kick. Man, it's heartbreaking. I thought the Super Bowl was theirs this year.
Yeah, I did too. They're a good team. I think really ultimately they need a true RB1 on that team.
Yeah.
That would help.
Yep.
Jen, any final thoughts for Josh Allen, Sean McDermott as they hang their hats on the 2021 season? And man, what a season it was. The number one defense they had. I think Josh Allen's entered that conversation as the best quarterback in the league. It's a toss-up between him and Mahomes probably at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I love Josh Allen. I so badly wanted them to win that game. I mean, it was a heartbreaker, man.
It was,
That
man.
a heartbreaker. It was like, oh no, why? So I mean, they're going to come back solid next year, and I think we'll probably see a new team with new vision, new, better defined goals on and how they're going to be able to move forward.
Yeah,
Gabe Davis, wide receiver 1.
4 touchdowns for Gabriel Davis, as Nate alludes to there. 25 points scored in this game within the last 2 minutes. So it really was an absolute heartbreaker. But I'm excited, like you said, Nate, to see what happens with the Bills moving forward. We also had some other games as well. On Sunday, the Rams did take down the Buccaneers. Everything was crashing around Matthew Stafford and the Rams. 4 fumbles in this one, and a late heroics by Tom Brady end up falling short, 30-27. Matt Gay, he gets his revenge on his former Super Bowl winning team. Jen, do you have a headline for this game and what the Bucs can take away for this hard loss?
So this one for me is bye-bye Brady. And I think that really rang true after the game because he has been saying he wants to play until he's 50. If he's healthy enough, he wants to play until he's 50. I think something happened to him during this game and at the end of this game where he was like, why am I still doing this? What do I have to prove? I have nothing left to prove. I've done it all. I am the greatest of all time. There's no sense in me continuing to miss out on raising my children, having time with my wife. I mean, on his podcast, he basically lays it all out. He doesn't say he's retiring, but he's probably going to retire and probably take Gronk with him.
You're calling for the Tom Brady retirement party.
Yep. I would not be surprised.
Man. I would be wow. So you're just like,
yeah, he proved he can win a Super Bowl without Belichick. He proved he can do it on a different team in a different system. And there's nothing. Why continue? You have all the money in the world. You've got a gorgeous wife. You've got 3 beautiful children. Why continue to put yourself through all of this and put them through all of this? They are living their life without a husband and a father for 9 months of the year. So I think he's going to take this time and really reflect on what he wants for the next 50 years of his life. And I don't think that's football anymore, at least not in the capacity that he's in right now.
I think he has one more Super Bowl in him. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
I believe that he does physically.
I don't think I don't think he can hang it up just yet. We heard Levante David come out here at the end of the game, and he said there was kind of just dysfunction this entire season within the Buccaneers locker room. We know AB, the fake vaccination card, that was a whole saga, and all the bonuses that came with his contract that he was upset about. There are a lot of issues here. And I think at the end of the day, Bruce Arians, Tom Brady, we know these characters. They're not similar characters. Tom loves structure. He loves, definement. That's what made him so great for so many years. Bruce Arians is kind of a loose cannon at times. So, Jen, you could be right on this. No one's really sat me down and actually, said this. I would be surprised, though. Like, are you low-key, like, I know we're a redraft podcast, but are you trying to maybe get out of some of your shares of like a Mike Evans or a Gronk if you have them right now in Dynasty?
Yeah.
All right.
But what if they bring in Aaron Rodgers?
Okay.
I mean,
He's still good.
Okay, let's talk about Rodgers right now. So that was the Saturday night game. Rodgers, he goes down to the 49ers 13-10. Packers come out on the first drive. They score a touchdown. Their offense looks phenomenal, and then they go on for the rest of the game to absolutely drop a big turd in Lambeau Field. Special teams end up winning it for the 49ers. The block kicked, the block punt as well. In the fourth quarter. So pretty gut-wrenching loss for Rodgers. This looked like the year he could maybe win it once again. I'm not going to start that speculation talk right now. I will say, though, that my headline for this game and for the Packers moving forward is trust is a cold bitch. Trust is a cold bitch, guys. If you can't trust your partners, the people you're going into battle with, your team, then you don't have anything. And that is where Aaron Rodgers lacks right now. And trust is a cold bitch, and it bit him in the butt here this last weekend. I mean, let's just look at it, guys. Davante Adams, Aaron Jones, they combine for 21 of the 29 targets in this game. So it's all being funneled to those two players. Receiving lines for this game, 9 for 129 for Aaron Jones, 75 of that coming on the big play before half. And then 9 for 90 to Davante Adams. 1 for 6 yards to Allen Lazard. That's it. Those are the only 3 receivers who caught a pass. After the Mercedes Lewis fumble earlier in the game, it seemed like everything changed. Rodgers didn't want to trust him. He wanted to trust the other tight end after he dropped one. You just can't win that way. You can't win with all of your offense going through 2 players. He whines all offseason that he wanted Randall Cobb. Where was Randall Cobb, in this game?
Totally.
So, I think Rodgers is going to be back next year. I think we're playing games if we're not going to, if we're not going to be real about that. He's a $26.8 million dead cap hit if he's not back. Packers got a lot of work to do, though. Got a lot of work to do, a lot of decisions to be made on this roster. Nate, Jen, thoughts on the Packers? Thoughts on Aaron Rodgers after this one?
Yeah, I mean, I could see Rodgers sticking around for one more season. Like you said, the Lazard thing was a huge woof. Like that sucked because he was playing well, and then it crumbled. It just
a lot of DFS lines
crumbled.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So disappointing to say the least.
Yeah, and like to your point, Seth, I went back today and was looking at all of my old hot, medium, and milds for this season. I wrote about Randall Cobb as my hot week 1 because of that. Because Aaron Rodgers said, "Give me Randall Cobb and I'll play." They didn't throw him the ball all season. Cobb had 2 games where he was fantasy relevant. Outside of that, he didn't.
Yeah, I don't even think he has 30 receptions on the season.
No.
Yeah, I feel like the Packers called Aaron Rodgers' bluff when he was like, "Give me Randall Cobb back and I'll play and everything will be good." And they were like, "Okay." And he did not think that they were going to do that, and then underutilized.
And he's also on a 3-year, $27 million contract. He now enters the 3rd year of that. But bummer for the Packers. Realistically, I mean, some of this is on the organization for not going out and getting better wide receivers. But Aaron Rodgers, it seemed like to me, he was almost trying to send a message to the Packers, this is your guys' fault. You haven't got me weapons for the last few years. And it's all right, they could have done better in the weapons department, but again, you didn't trust your guys, Allen Lazard, who you trusted all season, all last season as well. Just a bummer, man. Just a bummer for the Packers. And I honestly think the lesser team won here, but hats off to the 49ers, man. Deebo Samuel puts this effing team on his back once again.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to be able to do it in the NFC Championship against the Rams. Or will he? I mean, I guess you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
But last one I want to talk about, guys, before we move on here, is just the Cincinnati team. Nate, I think you actually called them as your Super Bowl prediction from the AFC here a couple weeks ago when we were on together. And
I did.
19-16 thriller. Ryan Tannehill throws 3 interceptions, a very costly one at the end that leads to Evan McPherson, the Florida Pride, baby, making that kick. What are your guys' takeaways from this one? Because for me, it's wheels up on Joe Burrow and the Bengals. We've been talking about him all season, and it's just going to continue. And, Ryan Tannehill, I think this is the last year on his deal in 2022. So then I think it's probably goodbye to him. I just don't think he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
He's not.
No, I agree with everything you just said. In on Burrow, in on all of Cincinnati. Like, what an awesome
The defense is so we've said that too. We've called that Cincy is a defensive spot start at times, and they've been great.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And also, like, Joe Burrow made CJ Uzomah relevant this year.
Yeah, baby.
Like, come on. I'm impressed with Burrow. Kid's got a long, phenomenal career barring injury in this league.
Mm-hmm.
Only quarterback to ever be sacked 9 times and win a game. That's the thing. Like Aaron Rodgers, look at Joe Burrow. He just got sacked 9 times in a game, goes out and slings it at the very end. Isn't afraid to lay it on the line. That's what I love about Joe Burrow, man. That's what I love about this team. Like, this is a team I want even more of here in 2022.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, let's go ahead and move forward in the show here. We're going to do some Would You Rather. Would You Rather today is presented by Underdog Fantasy.
Yeah, guys, if you're not out there playing Underdog, they've got some awesome stuff going on in the playoffs. They've got some great weekly best ball. They've got a rest of playoffs best ball going on right now, best ball for next season. They've got prop stack'ems. It's an amazing deal. If you haven't tried it out already, head on over to Underdog Fantasy, sign up with the code IBT, and get a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. That could be $100 free in your pocket, guys. It's good economics. It's a great platform. Go check it out. Remember to sign up with the promo code IBT while you're there.
Risky business or that fair say. Are you that hard on the rocks? We're chilling with a cold one. Even bold one or hold back. Would you rather? This ain't no simple matter.
So unfortunately, there are some other pretty big headlines from the Chiefs-Bills game, guys. Brittany Mahomes. I think that's her. Is that her name, Brittany Mahomes? Is that right?
It's not
Wifey
Mahomes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Brittany, yes.
Yeah, I think they're engaged. They're not really married.
Whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but Patrick Mahomes' fiance and his brother are seen, his fiance specifically, seen opening a bottle of champagne on one of the suite levels and just like spraying it recklessly all over the fans below. I hate to say this, guys, but this type of behavior, the behavior we've seen from Jackson Mahomes on TikTok and everywhere on social media over the last year has really made Patrick Mahomes feel like now the villain of the NFL. Like, Tom Brady for a long time was kind of looked at as a villain. He kind of lost that label when he went to Tampa Bay, at least for a lot of people like myself. And now I kind of don't root for Patrick Mahomes anymore. And I think specifically because of this stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
It's embarrassing.
Rude,
embarrassing, uncouth,
classless,
Yeah.
unsportsmanlike, all of those.
Yeah.
classic Kansas City.
I mean, I was honestly like you look at that video and I'm just surprised. I don't know, like celebrate. It was a great win. You're emotional. I understand that. But like, if you're going to do that, why wouldn't you just like spray it around the box or whatever that you're in?
Right.
Dude, if I was Patrick, I'd break off my engagement and like get a restraining order against my brother.
Well, it's like,
Or at least have a talk with them. Like, you guys cannot act this way.
yeah. And you think about like Aaron Rodgers, and he's like on the other end of the spectrum where he's cut his family off. He doesn't talk to his brother, his parents. And it's like, this is the reason I can understand. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. So the first would you rather question, guys, is would you rather spend a week-long vacation with Jackson and Brittany, Antonio Brown, or Urban Meyer? So Jackson and Brittany, they're a package deal here. Would you rather spend a week-long vacation with them, AB, or Urban Meyer? So 3 of the people who've made headlines throughout this season for not great things.
I'm probably going to go AB just because it's going to be a crazy time, but it's going to be a fun time. So I can probably tolerate him for a week, but a week-long vacation with the Mahomeses just sounds like an embarrassment and uncomfortable the whole time. And Urban Meyer's just like, he's old. I don't want to hang out with him.
Plus, he's creepy.
He's creepy, dude.
He'd be all over you, and then I'd have to.
I'm too old for him.
That's fair. You are probably too old for him.
Yeah.
I'm with Jen. For me, it's AB because Brittany and Jackson Mahomes might end up disappearing after like 2 days hanging out with them. And Urban Meyer's a creep, so I'm going AB.
That's respectable. I'm going to be honest, just because of I'd feel a little safer. I wouldn't bring anyone with me. I'd go Urban Meyer. AB, I couldn't deal with the chat, and at least Urban's hey, can you teach me about some more X's and O's and some recruiting stuff? I feel at least Urban, you could have you could learn some things from Urban.
I get
That's
that.
true.
But regardless,
pick up young children.
I would want that to be a remote vacation and not go in public with him. That would be the big thing.
Vacation with him at his house where you don't need to leave.
Yeah. We could vacate. I don't want to go to Columbus. I don't want to go I don't like Ohio State. I think that's just not a good vibe out there.
Penn State, it makes sense.
Hey man, loyalist over here. Guys, next question. Enough shitting on Brittany and Mahomes, Jackson, AB, and Urban. Respect. You guys might have talked me to AB. Honestly, you might have talked me to AB at the end of it. But who would you rather draft here in 2022? I saw this tweet out there today. It made me think a lot about it. Would you rather draft Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon in 2022 redraft? Jones this season, 171 rushes, 799 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns through the air, 52 receptions, 391 yards, and 6 receiving touchdowns. RB 18, according to Fantasy Pros, going into next season, 34th overall. A.J. Dillon, pretty stellar season for him, all things considered. 187 rushing attempts, 803 yards, 5 touchdowns through the ground, and then 34 receptions, 313 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns as well. RB 23 for a guy who was drafted pretty late. 61 overall here, rated from Fantasy Pro. So you're looking about a 5th round pick for A.J. Dillon. Aaron Jones, you're looking about a late 3rd round pick. Who are you more comfortable with? Both these guys, they're probably going to be on the team here next year.
I'm going to say A.J. Dillon.
Yeah, I am too. Their stats are very, very similar, but I mean, A.J. Dillon's younger. He's going to be the future of that organization if he stays there. I think he was just slightly more consistent.
Yeah, Aaron Jones had a couple big blow up games early in the season. He had the 40 burger and then kind of just fell off a little bit. I will say the one thing we did project from Aaron Jones, which I thought we would see more, but he did set a career high in receptions with 52. But the receiving yards, A.J. Dillon was better with his receptions.
And he was 18 receptions behind, but only 80 yards roughly, 70 yards roughly.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, he was more effective. And that was surprising to me because the one thing I said, I think A.J. Dillon will take some of this goal line rushing work, but I didn't expect A.J. Dillon to take as much receiving work as he did, especially at the end of the season. I think personally, even at these ADPs, if I had to gun to the head take one, it's Aaron Jones, but I think I might just be avoiding the backfield in general. They're just both too solid of players to, really get ceiling value anymore from either one of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Next question here. Let's bring some fun back into it. Would you rather smoke a cigar with Joe Burrow at a Cincinnati bar or tailgate outside of SoFi Stadium with Kurt Warner? And let me set the scene for you here, guys. Zach Taylor is going around to all the Cincy bars after each win and giving away a game ball. We saw Joe Burrow out with him as well. And it's just a cool vibe. Like, that's super cool. Joe Burrow, I mean, I think he's the coolest quarterback. I think he's the coolest guy. Like, let's get that guy on some State Farm or any of these All-State commercials. And then Kurt Warner. I mean, Kurt Warner is an absolute legend. The true underdog story out in theaters a couple months ago. And then SoFi Stadium just looks effing beautiful. Like, I've heard people talk about it, and like when you're going into LAX, sometimes you can like kind of do a loop where you're like coming by it, and it's just looks absolutely marvelous. So not being in any of these places before, Cincinnati or at SoFi Stadium, take your pick here, Jen.
Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, all the way, no question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kurt Warner sounds boring. Great story. Probably not going to be my jam tailgating at SoFi. Plus, that's LA and gross. I'm taking working class Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, and some cigars in the bar.
All right. I can't disagree with that. I mean, I think we need to give Kurt Warner a little more cred. Like that coat he had on that meme earlier this season, that was pretty funny. And I don't know, man. I've never been to LA, but I want to go to SoFi. That looks freaking sweet, man.
It does.
Sweet. But yeah, Joe Burrow, man. I mean, is there a player in the NFL, if I say you could hang out with one player for a day, is there one player you'd pick over Joe Burrow? If so, who?
Depends on my mood.
Well,
But
always
probably
pick
not.
the fun one.
Well, Gronk.
No,
I'm saying,
yeah.
yeah, but he's Gronk smash party time.
His commercials are terrible.
I'm
I
not
can't
hanging
hang out
out
with that. I can't hang out with that.
So if I ever do a commercial and it's bad, you're just going to divorce me?
I don't know.
Okay, noted. I won't do commercials.
No, we're doing commercials, Nate.
No.
Doing commercials, baby.
I mean,
You're gonna do some
anyone else?
Victoria's Secret commercials. I think that's Nate's secret weapon.
yeah.
Please, God, no. No one wants that.
I
Guys,
think for me, I would hang out with the Watt brothers.
Oh,
that's a good one. That's
Yep.
a good one. That's a good one, Jen.
Yep.
That's a good one. I don't know. There's probably no one else other than Joe Burrow that I think I'd honestly want to hang out with. James Washington for the Steelers is pretty cool. He's like a farmer from in Texas, so like I kind of want to go hang out with him on his farm. He always makes it look cool at least on his socials.
Mm-hmm. I'd hang out with Von Miller for that same reason.
Oh, totally.
Farming and just good guy.
Yeah.
Chad Kelly sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think Ray Lewis would be a good time.
Hey, guys, let's go out with Ray Lewis, Chad Kelly, and Pac-Man Jones. This should be a great night.
Honestly, like if we had Plexico Burrs to that mix, I'm feeling pretty safe for the weekend. All right, guys.
man.
Speaking of legendary wide receivers here, speaking of Joe Burrow, let's talk about Jamar Chase or Deebo Samuel. Two of the best seasons we've seen from wide receivers in recent history. Jamar Chase, PPR wide receiver 5 this season. That connection is special. It's what has gotten them to the AFC Championship. 81 receptions for Jamar Chase in his rookie season, 1,455 yards, 13 tutties, baby. And then Deebo Samuel, I talked about in my column earlier today, guys. Not only does he have over 1,400 yards, 77 receptions, 6 receiving TDs, but this guy set the record for most rushing TDs for a wide receiver in history with 8. 365 yards on the ground is absolutely phenomenal. 8 touchdowns, 59 carries. He saw the most carries for a receiver that's ever been over 1,200 yards as well. The only person who's ever done it. So just a phenomenal season from both of these guys. Who would you rather have here in 2022? We don't have a good ADP right now on them, but it's probably going to be somewhere around, round 2 for these guys, mid-round 2, maybe back half of round 2 for Deebo Samuel. I will say, though, that Fantasy Pros ECR that I looked at earlier today, they had Samuel at 10 and they had Jamar Chase at 6. So Samuel's a little bit more of a value here. They're projecting Trey Lance as the starter, though, as well.
See, that's the only risky thing there. So for that reason, I'm going Chase.
Same. I know who Chase's quarterback is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that I trust Trey Lance yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think there's probably more upside with Chase. You probably are right about that, but I think Deebo is going to have the safer floor. If he can get, 50, 60 carries again, getting those RB2 numbers for San Francisco, if he can get that, and even if his numbers go closer to what he was his rookie year, about 800 yards or so, 3 receiving touchdowns, even if he splits the difference, let's say he's around 1,000 yards, not 1,400 this year, maybe closer to 1,000 and 4 or 5 receiving touchdowns. I still that's still enough that I would be interested. I'm going to be interested to see what these platforms do. If he's one of these guys you can throw in an RB slot on ESPN or Sleeper next year, because if that's the case, I'm definitely
that changes everything.
Yeah.
That changes
you guys
everything.
Go Deebo then probably?
Yeah.
If he has dual eligibility, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Good discussion. I'm excited to follow that one throughout the season. Those are both guys I would love to have on my team next season.
Oh God, please. Yes.
Let's go ahead and get into temperature check presented by Monkey Knife Fight. Monkey Knife Fight, it is home to a bunch of sports other than the NFL, a lot of which we cover here in Between Media specifically. They have NASCAR, DFS over there, prop bets. They also have UFC, and in addition to PGA, NFL, NBA, MLB. You guys name it. Go over there to Monkey Knife Fight. Use the promo code IBT. You're going to get a free $5 game and 100% instant deposit match up to $100. This is another one of our smart economic deals for you guys. Get over there. Use that promo code today. Start playing. We feature every week on the DFS tailgate as well. So make the most of your money here, guys. And let's go ahead and get into temperature check.
Temperature check.
That's really spicy. Holy shit.
So we talked about the NFL implications of this weekend, what it means for these winners and the losers, each team. But let's talk about individual players here, because we've discussed it throughout the offseason. These games do matter for fantasy value moving forward as well. Jen, do you have one specific winner that you think above all else, this is a player that you should be targeting, possibly after seeing what they did this weekend?
I mean, we've been talking about him all night. He's obvious. It's Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Yep.
Big time winner. Cannot argue with that.
Dude. Smooth as silk, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Jen, right now we're looking at Joe Burrow. He's probably still going to be in that lower tier of QB1s here, looking around somewhere between QB7 and QB9. Is that probably where you're looking to pay up for Joe Burrow here?
I mean, it depends on the league, but probably right around there. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a fair valuation. I take him at that.
Yeah.
Easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nate, who's your winner this week?
So my winner is Gabe Davis, because his value has never been higher. And in Dynasty, if you are a Gabe Davis owner, may I suggest selling him, which is not something I say very often about a player who has a big game. But we've seen what Gabe Davis is when there's literally anyone else to take those receptions. Yes, he came out and had a phenomenal game. I mean, 8 catches, 200+ yards, and 4 tutties. In the playoffs, it's no joke. And I've always believed in his talent, but the opportunity's never been there, and they keep bringing in other guys. So they brought in Manny Sanders this season when they could have ridden Gabe Davis. Sean McDermott didn't want to do it. And just because he had one big game in the playoffs doesn't necessarily mean that McDermott's going to change his mind. I love it because I love Gabriel Davis, but sell him if you can.
Tyrann Mathieu was out this game as well, which I think was a big difference maker. He went down to a neck injury here in the beginning of it. I think there is a world, though, that Gabe Davis is the wide receiver 2 for Buffalo next season. Cole Beasley fell off the face of the planet this season.
Yeah. I also don't throw out of the question them going out and getting an Allen Robinson. I mean, Allen Robinson would be a great compliment to Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I
take
think
some of that coverage pressure off of him because you have to respect Allen Robinson with Josh Allen.
Jen, do you think Manny Sanders is probably done? He was on a 1-year deal, didn't do much in the second half of the season. I don't know. It just doesn't look like he really has the chemistry. It almost looks like, if it's not Gabriel Davis or if it's not Stephon Diggs in this offense, it's Dawson Knox and not Manny Sanders.
Yeah, 1,000%, which hurts my heart for him. It sucks, but they didn't use him.
He couldn't stay on the field.
Yeah, he's probably done.
All right. Well, I think my biggest winner of the weekend, the team lost, but the player continues to smash, and that's my guy, Playoff Lenny, baby. Playoff Lenny, baby. We've been talking about him all off season in 2021. He talked about all season long. I even went up to Jen when she was at an in-person draft, made sure she smashed that. Guys, what are your thoughts with Playoff Lenny here? 13 for 51 and 2 rushing touchdowns in his first appearance back, 9 receptions, 56 yards. Let's stick with the impression that Tom Brady is staying because we don't have reports yet that he could leave. Where are you on Leonard Fournette for next season? Because right now they have an RB18 in Fantasy Pros ECR rankings. I'm really interested because 811 rushing yards, 8 rushing touchdowns this season, 69 receptions, 454 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns, 84 targets for Leonard Fournette. I mean, just an absolute smash of a season, especially where you got him. We don't know what the cap situation is going to bring here in Tampa Bay. Chris Godwin's up, Cameron Brate's up, Gronk's up, Lenny's up, Ronald Jones is up. A lot of these big O.J. Howard's up. A lot of these big players are up for them. But I think they'll find a way to get Leonard Fournette back on this team if Tom Brady's still here. Are you guys comfortable? I think at RB18, I think he's still a smashing value. I think that's like his floor to mid to low floor there.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah, I agree. I like Fournette in that system. As long as if Brady stays. If Brady doesn't stay, I don't think they even re-sign him.
Yeah,
I might actually be even higher on him if he ends up somewhere like running back DD Buffalo or Atlanta or Houston.
Dude, I remember we were talking last year that he might go to Buffalo or Pittsburgh, and I like that. But, oh, my God, Buffalo would be – Devin Singletary, though, bro. Devin Singletary's been nice.
Yeah, but you're not – dude, if you have the opportunity to get a Rashad Penny or a Leonard Fournette, you're going to do it.
Yeah. We got a comment here from AF on YouTube. My 8-year-old son has learned that 69 is a funny number, but doesn't know why. How do I handle this? This is a lifestyle question that I absolutely love to answer. And I will say this. I also knew 69 was a funny number for a while, but I didn't know why.
I would just say because they're opposites, so they look funny together.
There you go.
Jen dropping the mom advice.
There you go. Nate, you got any dad advice, or are you just following suit here with Jen?
Yeah, what would you tell Jackson?
Your mommy said that they're funny because they're opposite numbers.
You could say something like they're loopy.
They're loopy. It looks like a yin and yang.
It does, yeah. Actually,
but then you have to explain what yin and yang is. Do you want that?
That's true. I've just created more work for myself.
Just think ahead.
I'm just going to go with the funny number. It's perfect.
I still don't really know what yin and yang mean, if we're being honest.
It's
like peace and love. Is it peace and love?
It's a life flow energy. You're yin to your yang. You're right to your left. You're good to your bad.
You're 6 to your 9.
You're 6 to your 9.
Love that question, man. Awesome question there. Jen, do you have a loser from here in the divisional round?
I mean, I am going to probably have to say Brandon Ayuk. He just kind of fizzled out. He had 0 catches, 1 target. Like, I think we all expected more from him, and it just was like blah blah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just kind of like that was almost the season for him in general. Drafted above Deebo Samuel in most drafts and absolutely disappointed. I think he was, I don't have his finish here, but I think he was wide receiver. It was definitely low 30s, early 40s. It wasn't a high finish for him. I know. Maybe get some stats on that. But overall, disappointing season for Brandon Ayuk. And I don't think it gets any better here with Trey Lance coming in. So, yeah, I think that's a good one, Jen. Maybe we see him step up against the Rams when he needs to. But Jimmy Garoppolo is actually pretty trash that entire game, too.
Mm-hmm.
He went back to Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
The idea that he's a solution to anything
is sadly disappointing.
He's a solution to my Mason Rudolph problem I got going on in Pittsburgh, Nate. So anyone's a solution to that, baby.
Brandon Ayuk was PPR wide receiver 35 on the season.
Okay, yeah. So not lovely. Nate, do you have a loser from the weekend?
I wish I could say the Chiefs, but I can't. I'm going to go Ryan Tannehill. I mean, dude, we all had such high hopes for him coming into this season because he played so well last season, and it was he's gone from Gase narrative. And I was with you on that. I was with everybody on that. I really believed it. He showed this year he's an average at best quarterback, and he's not a quarterback you want to rely on in the playoffs. 2 years in a row, they haven't gone as far as they could have because Ryan Tannehill couldn't get his SHIT together. I mean, 15 for 24, 220 yards, a touchdown, but those 3 interceptions and the interception with 20 seconds left. That was just the game is tied. You don't throw into triple coverage, essentially, because you had 2 corners in the vicinity and a safety coming down from the top. They saw what you were about to do, and you threw into it anyway. I'm out on him. I'm not even drafting him in Superflex formats unless he is literally the last quarterback on the board. I will take Taysom Hill on a wing and a prayer over Ryan Tannehill because I don't trust the guy anymore.
Nate, I think you nailed this one, man. I'll be honest, because Ryan Tannehill, since about week 1, I just saw a difference with him in his fantasy outputs, and he had like some of his lowest totals ever with Tennessee, specifically this season. I think Arthur Smith, him departing to Atlanta, has an incredible impact on Ryan Tannehill's upside. And we saw just so many mediocre performances from him. He couldn't make Julio Jones work. A.J. Brown was sketchy at best. That one play was tight, though. That one-hander, that was tight on A.J. Brown. But
well, that was A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
It was a bad throw.
Yeah. But, I mean, overall, disappointing season. I think Tannehill, he's probably a mid-level, mid-tier QB2 next season. Overall, though, disappointing. I had him stacked with A.J. Brown in a league this season. I was like pretty pumped up for that. And yeah.
That did not pay off this year.
No. Guys, I guess I'll stick with the same offense for my loser. It's Julio Jones. 6 for 62. At least he caught 6 balls for 62 yards. I was encouraged by that. But you and I and Connor on the DFS show, Nate, we were really intrigued by Julio Jones because of the matchup here. And, 1 TD on the entire season, no TDs here. Wide receiver 93 in PPR scoring formats, guys. 93. That is not a missay, a typo, fake news, whatever you want to call it, guys. That is legit here. 31 receptions, 434 yards, 1 TD on the season for Julio Jones. I mean, he's a dart throw again next year, and he's going to cost less, but you're playing a dangerous game.
Look, Atlanta let go of him for a reason. And at the time, I believed that. I was like, yeah, sure, we've got Calvin Ridley, whatever, we can afford to trade him.
They got a steal for him.
They did. At the time, you thought it was the other way around. You're like,
yeah.
How did Tennessee get him for so cheap?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the organization that brought him up looked at it and was like, this guy's beat up. He can't stay on the field, and he's not the elite talent he used to be. We just drafted Kyle Pitts. We've got Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage to bridge the gap until Kyle Pitts hits that elite level in his second year. We're good. And let's get rid of this contract. And that's what they did. And everyone was super hyped. And I had my moments. But ultimately, I think Jen and I had a conversation about it at the beginning of the season. Julio Jones is probably washed at this point.
We were excited to see him. Like, we were super excited. And nothing.
Yeah.
Nope.
Repeatedly, over and over again. He
Repeatedly,
broke everyone's
over and
heart.
over, nothing. Scott Fishbowl. Oof, I regretted that one.
Only one game above 60 yards receiving in the regular season. That came in week 2. 1 TD. Just brutal season for him. Maybe he finds his – I think he'll be a better – if he stays put in Tennessee, I think he'll be better next season, obviously. A second year with Ryan Tannehill, second year in that system. And he'll be a better value in draft. So I might be more intrigued. But, like, at this point, he's a sketchy wide receiver 4 because of the injury history.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like at this point, he's basically A.J. Green in Arizona, where he has value, and in deeper leagues, you draft him, but you know that there's situational plays for him because there are guys ahead of him. And next season, they probably are going to have another receiver ahead of him between him and A.J. Brown, I would assume.
Yeah, they got to find someone. They need some help either there, the tight end position at Tennessee. They can't, And Nate, I'll close this discussion off here, and then we'll get into some weekly advice to round out the show, guys. But you called it that Dante Foreman needed to be involved on Saturday. They didn't get him involved until late in the game, and he broke off a huge ripper. And I mean, it was pretty astounding. Like, they just came out and kept feeding Henry, and it wasn't going anywhere. And you called it, man. So hats off to you on that one, Nate.
Hey, thanks. Every once in a while.
I was just like, they need to sign Foreman back. I think
I think they do too.
They need to run somewhat of a committee, and Derrick Henry still needs to see 20 plus touches a game to wear down that defense. But Foreman's like a mini Derrick Henry out there, not just because of the hair.
And he's got receiving upside, just like Derrick Henry does now. So I mean, imagine this as a 1-2 two-headed approach with those guys. I agree.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with the Tennessee Titans and the rest of these playoff teams that fell here in the divisional round. But awesome breaking it down with you guys tonight. I want to round out the show tonight with one more segment, weekly advice.
Weekly advice.
All right, guys. So weekly advice, our way of bringing some feel-good lifestyle advice to the end of each of our shows. Today, I want to kind of talk about a little bit of something that kind of happened in the poll votes here in the last couple weeks. And I want to preface this with, we talked about it kind of earlier on. Like, you got to take risks in life. You got to live in the moment. We talk a lot about that here at IBT, but it's hard to do. It's really hard to do sometimes. You guys are great at doing it. I will say, like, as my co-hosts, as my colleagues here in Between Media, I really respect you guys able to do that. Here a couple weeks ago, you guys had a situation. You're celebrating Jen's 29th birthday out in Vegas, and you had a couple friends going out, a big planned group trip, and fell through. Nate came down with COVID after Jen did. Had to cancel the trip. After the quarantine was lifted, you guys were feeling better. You wanted to go to Vegas. So you kind of, like, the night before, you planned a trip to Vegas, had this pretty crazy weekend there. Just take me through the week, man. Take me through, like, that time period, and, like, just what, like, there's a message here to be had, I feel like.
Well, yeah, we'd planned the trip. We had 10 people going, 5 different sets of couples, sister, best friends of many, many, many years. And Nate had been coordinating the whole thing with all of them. I was completely left out of it. Super excited. Finally started to get a little bit involved. And then COVID. And it was like, okay, I got it first on, like, the 2nd or the 1st, January 1st or 2nd. And it kicked my butt for 2 weeks. And then Nate had it in there. Yeah. And Jackson had it. And it was just like everybody else. It was like the Christmas COVID. And so then we called off the trip because it was like, I had zero energy. Like, Zero.
Mhm.
So we were like, well, my parents they were planning on taking Jackson anyways. They offered to take him again for that weekend. So we planned something in downtown Denver. And then I just like snapped. And I was like, no, this is my birthday. We've been planning this. We are doing this. I understand that nobody else can go. So we dropped Jackson off with my parents that Saturday morning. We met them for breakfast for my birthday. And we kind of said, here he is, and here are all of his things. And thank you very much. Goodbye. And it ended up being like the best birthday ever, minus my wallet getting stolen. But
Yeah, that
otherwise,
part, but
yeah. And I think for us, it's just like, I don't know. I used to have this written on our whiteboard here in the kitchen, but do not put off until tomorrow that which you can do today, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So by living with that philosophy, it doesn't matter if there isn't a tomorrow because you're doing it today.
yeah. I mean, life is boring if you don't take some chances and do some things outside of the box. And we lived in a world for a really long time where we didn't do that stuff because we had jobs and we had responsibilities and we were scared because it's scary. And we wouldn't just pick up and go.
Right.
And then they just like, I don't know, man. This
Well, we
last
had the
2
summer
years,
of yes. We had the summer of yes. And that changed a lot of us.
Yeah, we were kind of shut-ins and we didn't do much. And one summer we missed out on a concert that we should have gone to, and we were really bummed afterwards that we didn't go. And we sat down and said, "This is our summer of yes. We're going to say yes." We said yes to everything.
Yes, everything.
And it was
within reason, but yes.
Obviously
Really?
there's certain. Yeah, we said yes to everything as long as it was reasonable.
How long ago was that, do you think?
8 years ago, 2014 probably.
Probably sounds about right. 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was probably one of the most fun summers we've ever had.
Yeah. So it was basically, we said yes to every invitation that came our way. Any barbecue, any vacation,
Wow.
anything that we were invited to, we said yes.
That's incredible.
Did it all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, I appreciate the advice, man. I mean, I hope our audience continues to as well. I mean, these are the conversations I love to have with you guys because there's so much knowledge within this. Like, I've watched the movie Yes Man. I didn't really realize that was a real concept, though. So to know that it's awesome. I'm glad you had a great 29th birthday, Jen. I'm great. Sorry about your wallet in Vegas, but they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So kind of
Just like Jen's wallet.
Yeah.
Makes me so mad.
She gets angry. Let's stop talking about it. This could be a long night.
Angry.
So we are going to have one more episode of the show next week. We're going to bring in Scott, our other rotational co-host here. Jen, I just want to give you a hand for being a phenomenal co-host this season for us. It's been awesome having you on. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. And do you have any final thoughts? 2021 season coming to a close for Jennifer Pole-Vault here.
I think I'm just gonna say, go Burrow. That's all I have. Like I want to see him go all the way.
All right, love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Well, guys, we will break down what happens to Joe Burrow, the Bengals, and everyone playing here in the conference championships next week. Nate and I will be back. We'll be joined by Scott, our audio editor Kyle as well. Until then, keep it in between. Have a great weekend and stay safe out there, everyone.
The In Between Fantasy Football Podcast.
So one thing that really sets us apart here is we're not afraid to talk about other things that maybe aren't super fantasy related.
Do what you can to become a better person.